Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Monday morning to you. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson, senior producer in charge of things today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jared Construction Studios. Right on time, right on budget. Visit jared-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street. Text to the show come to you from West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Tailor on Virginia Street. Time to refresh your wardrobe for summer with Tony's latest collection of polos, tees, wovens, shorts, swimwear from Johnny O and more. Also, prom graduation time, too. Visit bestbastardtailor.com or Tony the Tailor's Facebook page for more information. Hope everybody had a great weekend. So much going on in the area this past weekend, almost too much. You had the Dirty Birds home opener Friday night. Also Friday night, the St. Albans pub crawl was held, the Dancing with the Stars event Friday night. Saturday, the grand opening of the Fun Factory in the old Kiddaroo's location here in Charleston. That's going to be a huge, huge thing for Charleston. The Run for the Ribbon for breast cancer. Saturday, the Hurricane Main Street Spring Festival, the opening of the Putnam Farmers Market. I'm sure I missed things, but if you can find something to do this weekend, that's probably on you. Coming up a little bit later on, Charleston Mayor Amy Schuler Goodwin is going to join us. You got questions, you got comments, you got concerns for the mayor. She's in here taking your phone calls, taking your texts. So go ahead and get some things in your head. You know, it doesn't always have to be negative. Sometimes it can be positive as well. Plus, TJ Meadows will join us to give us a preview of Talkline today, coming up at 10:06. Welcome into the show now, former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones. How are you, man?
Good morning, sir.
Watch the Kentucky Derby. Are you a Derby guy?
I am not.
I don't know really a whole lot about it, but it's kind of a tradition. Like every year, my wife and I watch it. You know, we pick a horse, and neither one of us did. Well, I went with journalism, which was the favorite, and that one didn't win, but hers didn't either. So.
I wonder what the odds were on the one that won.
I don't know. We'll have to look that up. I'll try to do that here momentarily. But anyway, then so I would have thought you would have been a Derby guy, Danny. You just kind of look like a guy that would. Have you ever been to the Derby?
No, I like to put my money down, but I don't bet on that. Okay. I remember in the 70s, what was the name of the horse that won the first Triple Crown?
Secretariat?
Yeah. And then they had another horse a year or two later named Seattle Slew.
Yeah.
And the reason I know that, because we made bits out of it at the bar that I was working at and later owned. We'd have a Saturday afternoon. We'd make a bit out of it, you know, and give away sandwiches or something and let people buy their own whiskey. And
yeah. You know. 9-1 were the odds on Sovereignty, the winner. 9-1.
Wow.
9-1. Just looked it up there. So yesterday I thought of you, and we'll get into some other stuff a little bit later. The news shows were depressing me a little bit yesterday, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. So I flipped over to the Antenna network, the rerun channel, as one of them, as I call it. They were doing an all-in-family marathon yesterday, and at one point I laughed so hard I was almost crying, and what a great show!
Couldn't do that show now.
Oh no! You know when
it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about All in the Family, if you ever do it, I'm a geek when it comes to my favorite TV shows or movies. I want to know every possible thing about it. And I've done a lot of reading about it. Of course, it was a breakout hit as soon as it came out of the gate for CBS in the early 1970s. But Norman Lear, the creator of the show, actually at one point, it was meant to bring up serious issues. But in later interviews, Norman Lear talked about that some people saw Archie Bunker as a hero, and that was not his intention at all. Mm-hmm. And he was quite bothered by that but it's kind of like going back to my old wrestling days. When you make the bad guys really, really cool, people like them no matter what they do. And it's kind of the way it was with Archie.
Yeah, and Norman Lear was very, very liberal.
Oh, yeah.
And so he would have not liked that character. But Archie was also very liberal.
Oh, yeah.
And the real person. He was the exact opposite of...
and Rob Reiner is extremely... if you follow Rob Reiner on Twitter, on X, man, he is extremely liberal. I mean, even to this day, he's very active on social media. Very, very liberal.
Hard left.
Well, most people in Hollywood are. And and that's why I think one of the reasons why if you saw an interview with Trump, he said he wants to start having movies made in America again. And he wants them brought back, and he's going to put like a huge tariff on any movie that's made outside of America. And a lot of people, the thinking behind that, Danny, a lot of people think is he wants to take a shot at the movie industry in general because of their liberal bias, real or perceived.
Well, on Bill Maher, when he was interviewing Gavin Newsom says he needs to do something to bring him back to California because they've left California and they've moved to Atlanta and Texas.
Texas is one of the hot spots.
And that's because of tax breaks. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, and those states, I mean, now not Atlanta so much. I mean, Georgia's an interesting state politically because it is when you're in the metro areas, specifically in Atlanta, it tends to be more liberal. But when you get into, it is, and there's a lot of rural Georgia that,
very, very
not so liberal.
Very red.
Very red, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a text here. It says, Dave, the Trump take of the day. Don't know if he has to uphold the Constitution and rename Veterans Day to Victory Day. This is a joke, not real.
It's a joke. It's real.
It's real, yeah.
And he's got no business doing that.
So what do you think is the reason behind it?
I don't know. I don't know what his reasoning is with anything. Mm-hmm. But latest being Alcatraz. But he needs to leave that kind of stuff alone to veterans, not to him, who isn't a veteran.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the major issues that I have with Donald Trump, and it didn't matter whether he was President Trump or not. And again, I'm a son of a veteran, and to me, you haven't earned the right to say anything about veterans. And I to be fair, I might have said the same thing about Bill Clinton too. So you haven't earned the right to be able to do these things.
I did say I was on the air then, and everybody called Clinton a draft dodger. But he's no more a draft dodger than the man you have now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Bone Spurs?
Captain Bone Spurs, as he's been called. You, in walking down here from the office this morning, you said something about Alcatraz. You wanted to talk about Alcatraz. And in the Danny Jones style, you said, I've been there. I know a lot about it. Almost like you served there. Let me just point for the record, you did not serve in Alcatraz, right?
No, but I visited several times. And I visited when only 200 people a day were going over there. Mm-hmm. And now there's 1 million people a year. Alcatraz makes a lot of money. And if you turn it back into a prison, you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a tourist spot.
And it was closed in March of 1963 by Robert F. Kennedy Sr. Because it cost too much to the foundation was crumbling then. Imagine what it's like now. And in 1970, the Indians took it over. And they stayed there for 1 year, or maybe a year and a half, and lived there. And then finally Nixon said they got to go. He let them stay there, but finally he said they had to go. But that the warden had a big house there, and they burned it up. Mm-hmm. It's just now a shell of a house. But there was one young guy there that name people may recognize, Benjamin Bratt. Law and Order guy, dated Julia Roberts. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, he was a little kid, and he lived on Alcatraz for a while.
So what do you think about the idea of, is this just more Trump, throwing things out there to see what sticks that's not actually going to happen? Or
well, I mean, he's the man in charge, but it's financially, it'd be ridiculous to do that. First thing, Alcatraz wasn't the worst prison to stay in. It just happened to be one you couldn't escape from. That was the whole idea behind it. Each cell is 9 by 5. You get a cell by yourself. So you got 45 square feet in there. And you got to go outside a lot. And because they didn't want you to get used to cold water, they had you had lots of hot water for showers.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
They did. And they didn't want you fighting over food, so they made sure you had good food. They didn't want to start any food fights in there. So a lot of prisons, they might revolt over food. Well, they didn't at Alcatraz because they had good food. The last menu, by the way, for breakfast is up on the wall.
What was on it?
I don't remember, but it was still there when I was there. And the cell's still closed and open, and you still got the 3 cells that were broken out of, and you've got the hole where the into the ventilation in the back of the cell that was taken out, and they'll show you where those cells are. But outside in the yard is where you could go spend time. And Alcatraz was not a bad prison to be in. There were a lot of worse prison. The worst prison to be in today is Florence, Colorado, ADX. Is absolutely awful. And
I think I saw a documentary on that at one point.
You have a cell inside of a cell. In other words, you open a big steel door to get to the bars. And you get to go out in this little outside room, which you don't get to see outside. You just get to see the sky. And it's concrete. And you get to walk around there or play handball by yourself or do whatever you do. But you do a cavity search before you go and a cavity search when you come back. And the worst of the worst are out there. Ramsey Youssef's out there. Sammy Gravano was there for 7 years. And I heard he described it. And you got a little black and white TV in there, 13-inch with headphones. You got your own shower because they don't want you leaving the room. So you're stuck in the room 23 hours a day unless you want to go outside, if they let you go outside.
Talking to former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Tackling all sorts of health issues. It's a podcast featuring WVU's expert physicians, talking about medical breakthroughs, preventative care, and whatnot. Great resource. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com. Under the podcast menu, start your journey towards better health today. Got a few texts to get to. We're going to get to some things a little closer to home with the former mayor. Coming up right after this, you're listening to WCHS, the voice of Charleston.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
When I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Warmer days are around the corner. Take advantage and start taking care of those home improvement projects on your list. Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union can help you improve your space with our home improvement loan program. Whether you need to replace your roof, fix your HVAC, install a generator, or something else, MCWV FCU has you covered. Our home improvement loans have a fast processing time and no appraisal is needed. Learn more at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Restrictions may apply. Equal housing lender NMLS number 422340.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
923 Bigley Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Snap Fitness, offering a wide array of professional wellness services, customized personal training, licensed recovery experts, and a staff of dietitians. 5 great locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com for more details. Former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones is here. Text says, after Clinton draft dodging and sex scandals opened the barn door, now no one cares since it's been done and ignored back then. Danny, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think it was ignored. He got impeached, and he took quite a bit of heat for being a draft dodger.
Yeah, I mean, that was a major theme of the 92 campaign.
Well, even afterwards, it was people couldn't believe he got elected, and then because he dethroned a war hero, and then he ran against another war hero and beat him, Bob Dole.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe the texter's correct. Maybe people don't care about that kind of stuff.
I mean, there was I was thinking about this the other day. Some of the things, whether you like Trump or not, some of the things that he has said and done 30, 40 years ago, I mean, I cannot imagine, a president of behaving in that way. But you also, and not to play amateur psychologist here, Danny, it's a totally different time. I mean, and everybody lives on social media now. Everybody plays a character. Your social media persona is not 9 times out of 10 your real life persona. It's things that you project that you want out there. And we just keep coming up with more. I know I sound like the old guy here, but we just keep coming up with more and more outrageous stuff. And Trump, to me, Trump is just a sign of the times.
And he has redefined the coarseness of the language, with vulgarity.
Yeah,
I mean, he is. Can be vulgar, but I try to make it private. And
there's time and place, Danny. Time and place.
And but he does it in public. And everybody, I was thinking about when Cory Booker did that speech, 25 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that for?
Himself.
Yeah, and he wants to be president. And then you got Chris Van Hollen, who wants that photo op with that white beater down there in El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that's going to work out so well. They're finding out more about that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And but everybody's looking for a bite that'll people latch on to, like Jasmine Crockett, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it works in their favor, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you remember it for the right reasons, and sometimes you remember it for the wrong reasons.
But it's like the old adage, any press is good press. And as long as they're talking about you, that's the modern mindset of a lot of political figures. It used to be that was confined primarily to, let's say, athletes or maybe musicians. But now you got to, I mean, in order to make it on the national front, there's got to be a story. There's got to be a buzz about you. That's just where we are as a society now, Danny.
And I look at this thing, and of course, we're 4 years away, but Democrats don't have anybody.
No.
I mean, I personally like Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. If they nominated him to be the first Democrat I ever voted for president.
Mm-hmm.
But
what is it about Shapiro that you like so? Because you told me that before. What is it?
Common sense.
Okay.
He's the real deal.
And look, I said this on the show before. I think you and I even said it. I watch a lot of, as you do, a lot of Sunday morning shows, Bill Maher, so on and so forth. Until the National Democratic Party And I love Donna Brazile. I don't always agree with Donna Brazile, but I enjoy. She's very entertaining.
She's very good.
I watch her, every Sunday morning on the This Week Show with Stephanopoulos. Until the National Democratic Party stands up and says no to some of this lunacy, then they're not going anywhere.
Well,
now, Trump may be the worst. Trump may be the worst person in history. However, he's going to win. He's going to. I mean, if the election were to be held today, even with his 30-some% approval rating, lowest approval rating first 100 days of any president in history, he'd win again.
Well, Carville's got some sense, and Donna Brazile, I think she has some sense. I introduced myself to her at Atlanta Airport.
Really?
And she's a great big woman. She's tall. And I told her I was the mayor of Charleston, West Virginia state capital. And she says, well, were you in the service? Like that. And I said, yeah, I was in the Marine Corps, went to Vietnam. Well, thank you for your service. And I read her book. And she's a man's woman. She likes to drink scotch.
Yeah.
And she'd be fun to hang out with.
I think so. Look, if I had to hang out with somebody that's on that panel that I watch every Sunday, it'd be Donna. It's not going to be Rance Priebus. I can tell you that.
No, Donna Brazile's a lot of fun. She's a nice person.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you something. We talked a little bit about this during the break. It has to do with downtown Charleston and this future proposed Capitol Sports Complex. Looks like the federal funding needed is not going to come through. So the project, according to County Commission President Ben Salango, who we had on the show last week, the project is on hold. Do you have any opinions on that? I mean, because I think, as being mayor, as long as you were, you could see the economic impact that thing could have.
It'd be great. I'm just very sorry. But, people, they confront me with it. People confront me with things, and where are they going to get the money? Mm-hmm. I felt they probably had it lined up before they had their press conference.
Well, he's blaming Washington right now, is what Commissioner Salango is saying, because the money and Senator Shelley Moore Capito has really been instrumental in trying to get this deal done, but the budget didn't go through that they wanted, and so there went the money. It's not saying, as he pointed out on the show last week, Danny, he's not saying that the project is dead, but right now it's just on hold.
Well, what if they're going to take $20,000 from a nonprofit in Jackson County? How are we going to get $7 million?
This is the Doge cuts you're talking about. Yeah. We had the lady that was a director of that group on the show, on the Metro News Midday show.
The point is, if we haven't gotten it by now, I mean, I'm not optimistic. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see. And the mayor will be on here.
Yeah, she'll be on here about 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read a text to you here, Danny.
All right.
I'm just going to read it. All right. Nice of you to bring back the sex abuser apologist. Why is Danny Jones afraid to alienate Trump weirdos? I mean, what more can you do to say that you're not a Donald Trump person?
I don't get that.
Well, I mean, this person's obviously misinformed, because I've never heard you. I don't know that I've heard you say anything good about Donald Trump.
The only thing I can tell people to do is to Google Mayor Danny Jones and go to my Wikipedia page, and it explains all about my feelings about Donald Trump. I left the Republican Party because he got nominated, and I don't hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of those that doesn't want him to succeed, but I didn't vote for him, never have. The last 3 national elections, I voted for a Libertarian candidate. So
Texas, nice of you to both sides fascism. Democrats are so extreme that I have no choice but to support the January 6th attack on the Capitol. You two make me sick. We make this person sick, Danny. I mean, has this person never heard what I've said about January 6th? I mean, I didn't say I was voting for Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Donald Trump last time. I did in 2016, but I didn't last time. What I said, if the person wanted to, to listen, I made my points on January 6th clear. I left the Republican Party because of January 6th. I mean, what the hell else can I do?
I read Cassidy Hutchinson's book. I read Liz Cheney's book several times. I read Jonathan Karl. He wrote another book called Tired of Winning about that whole thing. And I've never read a book that thinks January 6th was a good idea, because I don't think there is such a book out there. But
they were patriots, though, Danny.
Well, patriots don't do damage to the Capitol. And
but then you go down all of these rabbit holes of the police were in on it. The FBI was in on it. I watched it. I've told the story before. I watched it in real time. I was watching it on C-SPAN when it happened without any kind of commentary. I watched it because I just had a feeling something was going to happen. I watched it in real time, and what I saw horrified me. And before somebody decides to text in and say, "Oh, what did you think about the when the BLM was burning down inner cities?" I thought that was terrible too.
Yeah,
two things can be right at the same time.
That wasn't orchestrated by the president.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And Liz Cheney's book is juicy. She describes it as it happened in real time on the floor of the House. And she was back there writing her speech, and her dad called her when Trump was having his rally out on the Ellipse. And she said, Dick Cheney asked Liz, said, "Are you watching television?" She said, "No, I'm writing my speech." She said, "He just mentioned your name, and I think your life may be in danger." You know. And she stayed there, and she got into it with Jim Jordan and some of the others, because she said, "You all started all this." And you know who really orchestrated all of it, the lawsuit and everything? The speaker now. And he was not even known then. Mm-hmm. What's the name of the speaker?
Tim Johnson, yeah.
Speaker Johnson?
Yeah.
The Republican speaker? Mm-hmm. He wasn't even known. His office was right next to Liz Cheney's. And they were friends. Mm-hmm. But he's the one that wrote the brief and to challenge the election. And now he's a speaker. And but it's a book worth, well, I wouldn't think, if you haven't read it.
Mike Johnson. I said I said Tim. Mike Johnson.
Right.
Sorry, Mike Johnson. Text says, "You apparently have never suffered bone spurs. My husband has dealt with them for years, and it pains him to wear shoes. Don't ridicule or mock that you personally do."
Well,
not know.
Let me just mention that about bone spurs. Then how was he able to march in military school? Okay,
you're asking the wrong person.
He marched right down Pennsylvania Avenue in military school. Mm-hmm. Trump did. Mm-hmm. So
maybe you have good days and bad days, like they say.
No,
and he certainly doesn't affect his golf game any, because he plays golf every weekend.
It's ridiculous.
Tex said, wondering how Cecil Roberts feels about Trump now. Well, he probably feels the same way he did prior to the election.
He's never voted. I would suggest to you that Cecil Roberts has probably never even voted for a Republican.
Tex says, you all didn't vote for Donald Trump, but we have a two-party system, so not voting for one major party is essentially a vote for the other. Third-party voters and non-voters are just as complicit as MAGAs and Republicans in getting Trump elected.
That's not true.
Why is that not true?
It's a protest vote. Mm-hmm. I remember when a little guy from Texas in '92,
Perot,
he kept President Bush from being reelected. Mm-hmm. And in 1968, George Wallace got 10 million votes, which was 13%. And that affected that election. It may have hurt Humphrey. It may have hurt Nixon. We don't know. But it affected 10 million votes. If it's 3% of the votes, which it wasn't, it was 3% in 2016. If it's 3%, that's a 3% that can make a difference to somebody if they can capture. You know, Trump went in front of the libertarians to try to get their vote, and he was not successful at all. Didn't go over very well.
Well, Danny, before we let you go, important stuff. How's the dog doing?
Very exciting for an old man. I've got a new little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and we fell asleep on my couch before I came over here.
Right.
And it's quite a deal for a guy like me to have a little dog like that.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we're going to turn it over you're going to tag in the current mayor now.
All right.
Amy Goodwin is coming in. But Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Bridge Valley, offering custom tailored trainings to supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Ohio farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state, go to TakeControlOhio.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Ohio farmers.
Did you know Fireside and Patio Shop in Cross Lanes does more than fireplaces and stoves? We also do pools and spas, water testing analysis, and a wide range of chemicals, as well as pool service and repair of above ground and in-ground liners to pool openings and closings. No matter your pool and spa needs, Fireside and Patio Shop can help. Our staff has over 75 years of experience. Fireside and Patio Shop, where quality matters. Call 304-776-5765. Online at firesidepatio.com.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
It's 22 minutes in front of 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Huston's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of cinnamon bites, $20.99. Eat in. Pick up or get delivery by going to HustonsPizza.com. Metro News Midday with 13 News and Nightlife anchor Amanda Barron and me coming up at noon today, powered by Solango Law. We're going to get into more news on the NIOSH cuts, and, of course, more were announced on Friday night. We'll get into that. You hear a lot of times about West Virginia American Water buying up smaller water companies that are badly in need of upgrades that those companies can't afford. Well, one county said no to West Virginia American Water. We'll get into that story. Plus, it's Mayor Monday, where I go around the state and talk to a different mayor. The mayor of Ravenswood, Josh Miller, will be in the spotlight. Of course, open line West Virginia. Metro News Midday, powered by Solango Law, noon to 3 today. And coming up on this show tomorrow, there's a new farmers market coming to South Charleston. We'll get into that coming up on tomorrow's show. Let's welcome into the show now current Charleston Mayor Amy Schuler Goodwin. How you doing?
Good morning. It was great listening to Mayor Jones.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
He's a trip.
He has so much knowledge. He just has so much historical knowledge in his brain. I'm really fortunate that he still takes my calls and entertains my questions, and he knows stuff.
I mean, how much I'm just kind of curious, how much conversations do you have with maybe Danny or any other former mayors that are living, to just pick up the phone and say, hey, what do you think? I mean, is that a thing that happens?
Absolutely, it happens. And really, I probably lean on Mayor Jones the most out of the mayors, although, I studied Jay Goldman and, Mayor Goldman, who has an incredible history here in the city of Charleston. And the thing that always impressed me about Mayor Goldman was his fiscal policies. I mean, he was really tough. Mm-hmm. He was really, really tough, made a lot of really hard cuts. And quite frankly, so did Mayor Jones, because sometimes that's just what you have to do. But you can't be mayor for 16 years and not know right. the ins and outs, the ups and downs. And I leaned on him heavily and still do all the time. As a matter of fact, we're going to get together later on this week to have coffee so I can pick at his brain on a couple other things. He's really good. And, while we don't always agree 100%, I consider him somebody that I appreciate his advice and counsel, and I consider him a friend now. So.
All right, we got. I know several things we want to talk about. Sure. This is your first. This will be the last visit you have before the USA. I always want to add additional A's to it.
Yeah, me too.
The cycling event before it comes in. So we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. I do have a text here for you though.
Yeah, hit me.
It says, please ask the mayor when the Civic Center seats will be replaced.
Good.
They've been terrible for years and an embarrassment. Need to take care of the facility you have for the people of Charleston.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was approved. We had to go through council. I asked council to approve the purchase of new seats for the entire Coliseum and Convention Center. Although the Jones administration did an amazing job upgrading the convention center side. It is our job now to do the Coliseum side, and quite frankly, it's the side that we use the most. And so those will be done by end of, I believe, summer, beginning of fall of this year, because you have to block out a window of time, and we have that blocked. And so they look great. We saw other coliseums that have these style of seatings. I agree. It is time. And they will be in this. They'll be in this year. And the cleaning of it, too, by the way. When you take out these seats, Dave, you literally have to clean.
Gum from generations gone by. Yeah.
So I saw a couple of the seats that were taken out, some of the rows that were taken out. And, I'm pretty tough. I'm a mother of boys, but no thank you. That's number one. But also, a lot of the pull-out seats that we have, and we're selling out so many great concerts, so many great events. Those pull-out seats are now, they're obsolete. We can't find the parts for them. They get stuck, they break, and quite frankly, they're just not safe to keep continuing pulling them in and pulling them out, because one of these days we're not going to be able to. So thanks for the text, and you'll be thrilled. They're coming. The
Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a whole bunch of health issues, allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial type settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can't hurt you. Had Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango on the show last week, Mayor, and we talked about the pause, if you will, of Capitol Sports Complex. Would you like to add more to that?
Yeah, sure. Commissioner Salango is an incredible partner. This is the first city-county partnership of a project like this. We in the past have worked in silos in government. We're not going to. And I'm just so thankful to have such a good relationship with not only Commissioner Salango, but Tennant and Wheeler as well. The city is 100% committed to the sports center. And, when we announced this project, the sports tourism industry and travel tourism was a $40 billion industry. Now that number is over 52. We must do this project. Senator Capito and Senator Manchin had so much confidence in this project, they twice put in congressionally directed spending on this project, and I feel confident that Senator Capito, if she can help us secure this grant, she absolutely will, because she knows the numbers and she knows the value. I will say there are a lot of things at play, for sure. I agree with Commissioner Salango. The cost of construction is through the roof. If anybody's listening and you're building something, I don't care if it's a house or a business, or heck, if you're redoing the concrete in your driveway, Dave, it's just, if you're buying trees for a park, it is just twice the cost of anything right now. So that is always, top of mind and tip of tongue when we're talking about the sports complex. But the other thing that I will mention, and I talked about it in another news outlet a couple of weeks ago as well, is, there are some grand opportunities that might be forthcoming in and around that area. And that is in so much to say that the sports center, the location, having it right there by the Coliseum and Convention Center wasn't by accident. We've been studying this for a really long period of time. Do I think it's going to happen? Yes. Do I think in that area it's going to happen? Yes. Do I think it might look a little different in the future? We were going up because we were limited on space. Again, if you're a builder, if you're in construction, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to go horizontally than it is vertically. And so that's something that we're going to be looking into in the future. And the next question you're going to say is, what about the mall? Are you talking about the mall? Well, maybe. I will say that, as I did a couple of weeks ago to you when I was on, we have really good conversations with the Hall group moving forward. And what does that And it's not just the mall; it's that entire area. If you look at TC Energy, if you look at Poca Valley Bank, if you look at the hotel that's coming in, yes, we need another hotel. That area is really ripe for development and expanded development. And I'll summarize my comments by just saying this. Everybody wants things to happen quickly. Gosh, gee whiz, I wish I had a magic wand in my back pocket. This is the largest thing that we will be doing. It is huge. The development in and around that area is significant. So think about in the 70s and in the 80s when they started building and redeveloping this huge flat piece of land. It takes a while to make big things happen. But back to our support with our federal folks. I'll just say this: the reason why the Capital Connector and $25 million, almost $27 million, we're going to change the face of the riverfront. That's because of our federal partners, by the way, too. So make no mistake about it. We've got great relationships. Yes, they're ongoing projects, but great relationships with our federal partners. And you have to, by the way. You have to. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Off night tonight for the Birds. Back at home tomorrow night to take on Lexington. It's Healthcare Heroes Night, $2 Tuesday, too, with $2 tickets, popcorn, hot dogs, and soda. For more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com or the Dirty Birds social media pages. That was fun on Friday. We did the 20th anniversary. Yeah. It was fun on Friday to be there. It was, that game got, it was storm delayed for a while. But I understand we have a call, so let's go and let's talk to our friend Jim. You're on with the mayor.
Hello, Mayor. How are you
Hi,
today?
Jim. I'm Jim. I'm wonderful. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing okay. I just wanted to let you know that package that you sent me, I did not receive it. I don't know where it went to China or where it went, but I was wondering if you could make it up again and hand deliver it, because I would love to see you, since I'm not going to be able to attend the Live on the Levee or the regatta.
Hey, Jim, I know that Andrew in my office has your number, and so we will circle back with you by close of business today and make arrangements for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jim, we appreciate you.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Go ahead, Jim.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. I've been in touch with Commissioner Salango by Facebook and things like that, and I've been suggesting some companies to check with around the valley on the $7 million deficit. I think all the banks should get together and contribute a few dollars so kids can have some place to go.
All right, Jim. We appreciate your phone call.
Before
we go to break, somebody asked about the auditorium. What can you tell us about the municipal auditorium?
Thank you so much. Yeah, you probably saw some forklifts, scissor lifts that were down surrounding the municipal auditorium. I asked council months ago to give me some funding to do an assessment of the structure of the municipal auditorium, especially that front facade part, Dave. And so they were working in town all of last week to do that assessment on the structural integrity of that. And so hopefully soon we'll have a report, because here's the thing. We have to have, because a lot of folks keep asking me why, you have the Coliseum, you have the Clay Center. It's a totally different beast. You and I have talked about it ad nauseum. I need that 3,800. I need that venue that will hold that many people, even in its crumbling days. We were pulling in acts and we could fill it. We could fill that space, but it has to be reimagined. And it has to be a venue in which, by the way, artists want to be.
Talking with Charleston Mayor Amy Schuler Goodwin, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Jute, J-O-O-T Security Systems. Visit protectedbyjute.com or check them out on Facebook. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Poca Valley Bank has a new name. We are now simply Poca Valley, and here is why we're changing. Our place in the community goes beyond banking. While we still provide the finest in banking services, we also bring excellence in wealth management and financial planning, accounting, and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for the future or managing today, we offer the expertise you need. With 8 convenient locations, we're here to help you thrive. Discover the difference at Poca Valley. Relationships matter. Member FDIC.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
This is Brandon Grigsby with Prey Construction. When Steptoe & Johnson needed a partner to construct their professional space, they trusted Prey Construction. Just listen to what Brian Coakley of Steptoe & Johnson has to say.
I'm Brian Coakley of Steptoe & Johnson here in Charleston, West Virginia. We have worked with Prey Construction over the years at Chase Tower for all of our construction needs. The folks at Prey approach their work with the same dedication that we do.
Thank you, Brian, for allowing Prey Construction to be a steward of your projects and continue Steptoe & Johnson's 100-year tradition. To learn more about Prey Construction, visit preyconstruction.com.
Your Putnam County Assessor's Office is mandated to ensure your real estate is evaluated properly and fairly. This year, their field personnel will be in the Buffalo, Eleanor, Hometown, Bancroft, Poca, Nitro, and Union districts to revisit homeowners. Plus, new construction in the county will be assessed. They will be in marked vehicles and will have photo ID and business cards. If you have any questions about this process, visit their website at putnamcoassessor.com. That's putnamcoassessor.com.
$9:53. Older adults should protect themselves against severe respiratory disease. Talk to your doctor about flu, COVID-19, and RSV vaccines. Risk less, do more. Get started. Vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Charleston Mayor Amy Schuler Goodwin is here. Mayor is going to be a busy month in the capital city as we head into the summer months.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. And first, starting with, USA Cycling is just around the corner, and we are all hands on deck trying to get it figured out. We didn't, I'll be honest, and I know I've told you this before, when we went out to bid on this, I watched the videos. I saw the other big cities across the country that had hosted this, and I just thought, this will be so exciting. How fun this will be. I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. I didn't get how powerful it was. I didn't get how much enthusiasm, momentum, the return on investment that we saw for that. It starts May 19th and runs through the 26th. It is, we bring in the nation's top cyclists. They ride through our streets. It is so thrilling. As I told somebody over the weekend who said, gosh, gee whiz, what was really exciting is to watch that pace car, that professional driver, get ahead of the cyclist. And I said, it was very exciting. I rode in the pace car one time, and that will be the last time I ever ride in a professional race car with a driver because it was the scariest experience of my life. I'm a driving Miss Davy, a 10 and 2 steering wheel all the way up. But it's absolutely incredible. Folks are planning vacations around it, and we're so fortunate to have Spillman Law be a title sponsor of this event. Obviously, the CVB does an amazing job. CharlestonWV.com, CharlestonWV.com. It'll give you all the details. I actually left for you out front. We have a 2025 spectator guide. Mm-hmm. So if you or your business or your family or friends, actually somebody had texted me and said, hey, I'm getting married in that weekend. Do you think I could have a couple of these to put in our little, bridesmaids, groomsmen baskets? Because we want to make sure that folks participate. But it is, we're keeping an eye to the sky, but we also keep it to the road. There are a lot of paving projects going on. This was something that, when they came in and we bid on this, they said, if you remember last year, I know I talked about this. They said your roads are great, and I said, "Well, yeah, but we've got some touch-up. What roads do you want us to pave or pot?" And they're like, "Yeah, we don't really have any this year. We have some for sure. There's some construction going on in downtown Charleston, so we are on high alert to make sure that those projects get done. Everything is smoothed out because it makes a difference for not only our riders but our drivers. Dave, Mother Nature has been just horrific. This is probably the worst year. I've been mayor 6 years, going on 7 years. This is the worst Mother Nature has treated us during winter season. So a lot of potholes, a lot of patching, a lot of paving projects, which are already underway. And so you'll see us out there as well paving your streets because we've kept our paving budget at an elevated level because we need to.
There's a paving project actually going on today. I took a couple notes on it. It's available on the city's Facebook page. Eastbound lanes of Kanawha Boulevard, Clendenin to Court Street, closed till 1:30 today because you got a project going on there.
Yeah, lots of projects. So, as we always say, and I appreciate the patience of many, if you're delayed, it's just because we're trying to fix stuff, things that you have asked us to do. And so we're going to continue to do it. There's lots of good things going on, and not least of which we're going to have a Live on the Levee announcement this week. I know Multifest is going to have an announcement this week. We've got Regatta coming up. We've got Festival coming up. So the city, as we say, in the months of April and beginning of May, we start stretching now a lot and training because it is an incredible season here in the city of Charleston.
Live on the Levee is going to look a little bit different this year, right?
It's going to look a little bit different, and here's why. Because we have something every single weekend, and not just small little events. We have ginormous events, and we're listening to our vendors. In the month of August now, we saw our Live on the Levee attendance go down. And it's for the reason that kids are going back to school earlier and Mother Nature has turned up the heat on us, 95 degrees. Dave, I have very few people coming out. And what the vendors were telling us is we're killing it in May, June, and July. And in August, not so much. We need to be flexible. While we love to have Live on the Levee will always be in the city of Charleston. It may look a little bit different as we move forward. But there is something going on, some type of entertainment every weekend.
Charleston Mayor Amy Schuler Goodwin, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for allowing me.
All right, hang out 1 second with me here. Let's go to Mr. Meadows over here. What are you doing, man?
Not much. You're looking good.
That's a great Fiesta mug. Look at that.
You like that?
It's like a double mug.
Stole that from my wife.
I was to say, does your wife know you took that out?
No, she doesn't. Okay. She doesn't know. But now I guess she does. Yeah.
All right, what do you got on the show?
Sorry, honey. Coming up at 10:06, Gat Caperton. He's a Morgan County business owner. He says tariffs are good on his business. Has a positive impact. So we'll talk about that. 10:33, Eric Nelson, West Virginia Revenue Secretary on April tax collections. Bill Bissett stops by at 45:06. Stephen Allen Adams of Ogden Newspapers. Got some guests from Huntington Bank in the studio. Coming up at 11:33, we'll talk to them. Plus, your phone calls and texts. Tons of stuff today, Dave.
Are you making anybody mad today?
Well, of course. That's what I get paid to do. So just read my commentary at WVMetroNews.com. You can tell me how I'm wrong. And I got a little pesky thing about this rule of law. I kind of think it's a good idea. So.
Okay. All right. We'll be listening, and I will see you later today. Amanda Barrett and I with Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, noon to 3 on this and other Metro News stations. Have yourself a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow on this show. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.